with Dwayne Dupre, the man, the myth, the legend, the keyboard extraordinaire, the video, the drone master.
I think his hair's going to be a legend before it's over with.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
See, that'd be an extra attraction watching this because
Yeah.
as it's going on, my hair's going to go up. No,
The transformation.
Yeah, transformation. It shows you how long.
When I seen that picture the other day, because I've known you for about 20-something years.
Yeah.
And you always had short hair when I knew you. So
Yeah, last January.
I'm
I
jealous,
decided-
man. My hair used to look like that.
Yeah, last January, it's like, I'm not cutting it. So it's been a year.
Oh, gosh.
Because I always had a military cut since I was, when I moved to Houston, I cut it just before
Yeah.
then.
Right.
So,
Cool. Dwayne, how'd you get started in your talent? Get into all of this music, video?
I actually started, it goes back to learning computers in 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, you actually had to program. There wasn't none of this Windows stuff. You had to go in and type in code. And I started doing graphic design on a Tandy TRS Model 16 with a whole 32K of memory.
Ooh.
So working on that kind of stuff, I went to 7th grade science fair.
And it was probably as big as your microwave. Huh?
Yeah, exactly. So I went to a science fair. I built the space shuttle. My uncle was one of the engineers in Michoud that built the sternal tank. So I knew all about the space shuttle before it was ever launched. So I built this thing on a computer, dissected it, showed the inside, and then launched at the end. And nobody's ever seen anything like that before. Now that's lighting up one dot at a time. Saying for if then light up this dot, this dot.
Yeah.
So that got me hooked on the computers. But then going on, a buddy of mine, he had a little video camera, well, big video camera, by today's standards, and we strapped that thing to everything. Think about GoPros now. We take the remote control cars, we strap it to the top of the remote control car and running that, chasing after cats and dogs with it and stuff like that. So it combined with that, but then started working with in music.
Mm-hmm.
Worked with you guys a lot and everything. Well, then I went to school.
Yeah.
And the curriculum was a co-curriculum, so it was audio and video engineering. So I learned both.
Yeah.
So, and they kind of snowballed from there. And I came out of school, worked with you at your studio, worked with Hogg.
Yeah.
And then Martin Falls from HTV called me up, wanted me to go work for him at the station because he was going to build a recording studio and he wanted me to be the engineer. So I got to the station. Of course, he never built the studio.
Yeah.
But once I got there, I became chief news photographer almost immediately. I was editing newscasts and just caught the video bug and haven't looked back since. So once I got in that and we started getting to more nonlinear editing and graphic design, special effects, that's where the computers came back around again.
Yeah.
And that's what I really like doing, special effects. I like telling somebody, okay, we have this house here, we need to blow it up in the scene, but we can't actually blow it up.
Yeah.
That's where I come in. I blow it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, things like that. Or I have one scene I did where we needed a steam engine to be running through downtown Baton Rouge. So I built the whole thing in 3D and had a steam engine running through town with cars crossing the track behind and everything. It looked like it was absolutely real.
Well, maybe you could show me how to give myself more hair like yours.
I can do that. But yeah, that's how it started and just turned into a career out of it.
Yeah.
It's something that you love to do. That's the thing. I got my buddies there. They're working the plant and everything. They tell me all the time, "Is man, we just we're jealous of you. They make a lot more money than me, but they hate their jobs.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not making a lot of money like they do, but I love my job. I love doing it. When I finish work at the end of the day, I'm going home and I'm doing it again at the house.
You go
eating.
home energized, not worked
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. So I'll get on the computer and still work on stuff.
Sure.
Just having fun with it, doing it for myself, or even if it's something for the office, I'm enjoying doing it.
I definitely understand that, because lately that's all I've been doing is this stuff, and I've done the other too, so, and I enjoy this a lot more, and I can work 12, 15-hour days easy. So for me, it's not really like work.
Yeah, exactly.
I enjoy it.
Flies.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
I go to bed and take a nap for 3 hours. I get up and do some more. And
So that's how I am. In the middle of the night, I'm have more energy in the middle of the night to do it. All of a sudden, these things pop in my head, and if I don't get up and go do it, I'm never going to get to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I know the feeling. You have any projects coming up that you can talk about? Or?
We have, we just finished up shooting a series. Got 20 episodes in the can, and we're starting to push it out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Get You Real with Jeffrey and Chuck. Jeffrey is my boss, Jeffrey Horner. He's the owner of VRS Media Group. And then Chuck Bush. Chuck Bush, real famous guy. He was in the movie Fandango with Kevin Costner and Judd Nelson. He's the big guy. Like Chuck said the other day, he's 6'7" and a little bit. That's how he said
a little bit.
Yeah. So we've been working with Chuck. He's a great guy. And they're doing one, Get Real with Jeffrey and Chuck. It started out, Jeffrey and Chuck would meet every week and just discuss what's on their heart, what's bothering them, how to get through things and all. And it's kind of offshoot of this men's group we go to on Wednesdays, where we have a group of guys, about 15 of us, and it's the same thing. We go in there, and instead of having somebody just preach the word or anything, we go in there and one guy takes the lead, but if somebody has something on their heart, we'll go off in that offshoot there and address that issue and talk to them, talk about the scripture and everything, and help people through problems that they may have. Well, Jeffrey and Chuck realized that, hey, we need to record this. There's so many men out there that are either afraid to talk about it out loud, or they don't have anybody to talk to, because you need another man to talk to about it to realize that everybody goes through this. You're not an island. That's their favorite saying. Don't be an island is what they say at the end of every show. So they said, well, let's record this, and they turned into Get Real with Jeffrey and Chuck, and they'll go at it. We'll record 5 shows in a day, and they just go at it, and it's gotten to where they get so into it that at call time, we hit that dead end where we got to end the show because it's going on the air. We'll keep on recording, and we'll do after shows where they'll just keep on continuing the subject, and we'll post those kind of as a teaser to bring people into the show. So we got that. We have another show we actually started a year ago as 5-minute segments. We bring in people in different companies, and it's kind of advertisement for them. They come in, they talk about their company, ask them questions and everything. We tell them about it. Well, that's being looked at by some networks now. So we're going to take those, instead of having 5-minute segments, we're going to group it, have 4 interviews per show, and have a half-hour TV show. So we're completely revamping that. We just hired a new on-air talent. We had Jordan Trascolaire has been the host for all this time. Now we hired another girl. What was her name? Ashton. I'm sorry, Ashton. I just met her once, but she's a fireball. She's going to be great as a host of the show. So we hired that and built a whole new set. So completely revamping it. It's going to be pretty cool.
Well, you talked about faith in the men's group. How has that played a role in what you do or how you approach things?
Through the years, it really didn't play that much a role. I mean, I've always been involved with church, singing the choir. Knights of Columbus since 2001. I've served in so many positions in Knights of Columbus, from financial secretary, grand knight. I've served on the state level, doing things, doing graphic design, doing TV work. In fact, the editing system I have at home, they actually paid for, so I could do all that type of stuff for them. So I still do that on the side, free for them. But it wasn't until I started working with Jeffrey that I really started looking for that relationship. Going beyond just going, go to church every Sunday, sing every Sunday and everything. But going to those men's groups and doing this show, Get Real with Jeffrey and Chuck, has brought it to a new level where, I'm looking for that relationship. So, and that kind of changed. Since I used to work for another company, and we did some movies that, in the world movies, it wasn't, like, never did any kind of pornos or anything like that, but the last movie we did was kind of hard edge, and now I look back and I see those scenes, and it shakes me when I hear it. Especially I did a cameo shot one scene, and the first on-air thing is I'm screaming out a curse word, and it just shakes me every time I hear that now that I did that. So it's changed the way I talk, how I think. Even at band practice, I could get at band practice, where things that I'm trying to cool the other guys down now.
Watch your language. And it also amazes, like, you have daughters.
Yes.
And when we were younger, like you say, we used to play music in circles and hang out and stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
Gives you a totally different perspective, when you have children.
Yeah.
Now, and you gotta watch what you say,
I don't know much about that, No,
that's right.
I only when I have kids. But I will say this, as far as faith goes, and you make a very good point. For me, it's who, when I wake up in the morning, who do I see in the mirror?
Yeah.
If I see the good Lord, it's going to be a good day,
Yeah.
But if I see that other person or that, and so that's how I wake up every morning.
It'll be a rough ride.
I want to see the good Lord when I wake up in the morning, and I hope that He's there, So
cool. And on that note, y'all hang out like a hare and a biscuit. We'll be right back.
I closed my eyes. I dreamed of what our life can be like together. We have known each other since we were young. I always knew you were the one. But as we traveled through life learning who we are and who we will become, we stayed connected. From grade school to college. I could see a home that's waiting for us that we can call our own. We walk through the door and know we can create a life here, a home, a great home. Every room inside is filled with memories, the special things that only our life experiences together will provide. You might think it's crazy, but I see our kids running in the backyard. I see them with scraped knees and you making the tears go away. Junior walking in the room in his cap and gown and me thinking, where has all the time gone? Over the years, yeah, we had our ups and downs, but I always knew I had a home and was loved, a great home. My heart was full. I opened my eyes and see that it was not a dream. I see our grandkids running in the backyard and realize I have a great life and a great home. The dream was not a dream, but memories of our life together, our home together, our great home.
We're back with Dwayne Dupre. And Dwayne, we were going to talk about, you alluded to the technology involved in everything you do and computer programs. So what type of computer programs or technology you use to do all these fancy things that you do?
I usually have 3 to 4 different programs open on my desktop at one time. You know, editing in Premiere, doing compositing in After Effects, doing the parts of the compositing in Photoshop, bringing them into After Effects. The 3D stuff is a program called Blender, which is actually an open source program. Yeah. But I've used Lightwave, I've used Maya, I've used all that stuff before, and I could do everything I did in those programs with Blender and make it look photorealistic. I mean, over the years we used Lightwave, and it always looked animated. And the stuff I've been turning out lately with Blender, there's so many people that think it's absolutely real.
Wow.
You know, in fact, our 2 shows, giving away a hint here, is actually VR sets.
Yeah.
I completely built those sets in my bedroom.
And that's all green screen stuff, right?
Using green screen.
So, got any tips or tricks for green screen people out there?
Watch your reflections.
and I'm listening real intently. Yeah, I'm the one that edits the shows. So.
Yeah, green bounces everywhere. You don't even realize.
We were talking about that earlier. Yeah, I mean, it's it is what it is, and
you think you got it, and then you go back and post, and you got a hole through the person's shirt. That's where and the shirt might be black, but if there's green reflecting on it, it's hard to get it out sometimes.
Sure,
it's that balance you gotta do. So, but I did all that stuff. In fact, I did a big scene years ago. We did a movie, and the entire scene was a big nightclub. I mean, tons of people. There's stuff going on. There's lights flashing everywhere. The dance floor was an 8-foot circle, and the dance floor is all LED lights flashing and everything. The entire thing was green screen.
Wow.
Built it all in After Effects.
What kind of lighting tips you have for anybody out there?
Lighting, we use mostly LEDs now. You don't have to worry about the heat. You don't have your talent just melting on you anymore. It's easier to control. They're dimmable. You control the color. But just started lighting things differently lately. Just working with shadows more. Instead of trying to get rid of shadows, we're actually adding in more shadows, making it more interesting.
Make it a little more realistic.
Yeah,
A little more
especially
dramatic
shooting.
effect.
Yeah, I mean, for doing a talk show and everything, I'll light it like we have here. But we do a lot of high-end production stuff, national spots and all. And in that case, you want to light it more like film.
I was looking at actually researching special effects with lighting yesterday, and I'll show you the website afterwards. But I mean, you can set lights now to look like lightning.
Yeah.
To look like make fire, right?
Yep.
So you don't even have to have a fire going. You can just have the lights do that for you, which
Okay.
makes a better effect. Because if you do it post, it doesn't necessarily always come out right. But if you're doing it during the scene, it seems to be better. So I'll show you those lights. They were pretty cool. I can't remember the name of them.
I was shooting a live performance the other day, and they had a spotlight, big spotlight that, and had all kind of buttons in it. Man, they're changing the colors. They're making a strobe in different colors.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool. I said, "Where's the trigger for the high-powered laser?" Because that's what it looked like.
What about back in the day when you were like in a gymnasium or something in school and they actually get on the spotlight, and you touch that thing, it burns. I remember
when you turn it,
those days.
squeaks as you turn it.
Yeah. In college too. The same thing in college. Yeah.
So we talk about the tech and all this kind of stuff. What exactly y'all do at VRS?
We do corporate and commercial stuff. We when I started working there, it was called Video Reflections Studio, and we did all kinds of entertainment stuff, which we still do, which is like dance recitals, plays, and things, the high-end plays. Also did weddings at the time too. Well, in 2015, we stopped booking weddings to concentrate more on corporate stuff.
Yeah.
That way we have our weekends off except for in dance season. And at that time, it changed to VRS Media Group because there's so many people still thinking we did the weddings, and also still VRS stands for Video Reflection Studio, but now that's the parent company. VRS Media Group is the actual operations. And but we do a lot of corporate stuff. We work in the plants. We're getting ready. Next month, we're actually shooting an international video for a company. They're based out of, they have a Geismar location. They had a location in China, and the other location, I can't remember exactly what country it is, but it's in the Switzerland, Norway area. Can't think of it right now off the spot. But we're doing a big show for them. They're coming in. We're bringing in people from all over the world to interview them, and then we're going to shoot all the B-roll at the Geismar facility.
Yeah.
So we do that kind of stuff. We just shot a big thing for WeBank, which is women-owned businesses. It's a nationwide company, it's a nationwide organization.
Yeah.
And they were having a week-long conference at the Shell training facility in Robert. And we went in there, did interviews, shot them doing all stuff, put it all together to really promote the program. We do that kind of stuff. We've been doing some national level spots. We just did Berkshire Hathaway. Did a beautiful shot for them. We were really happy with it. Shot everything. Went in and said, let us take this one. Now, we did a commercial for them before, and I said, we have an idea for this, let us do it. So my boss Jeffrey, he wrote the script. Then we sat down together, and we storyboarded by pulling in stuff that we liked, that we saw on the internet. We want the shot to look similar to this, so we grabbed that shot. We just put the whole thing together and built the commercial before we shot an inch of footage.
Yeah.
Sure.
And got it, okay, this looks good. I actually went in and wrote the music. I got the big Roland X8 now.
You use storyboards sometimes?
Yeah. On projects like that, yeah.
Sure.
Run and gun stuff, not so much. We have an idea. We do, when we have the script, we'll put down on the side of it what we're kind of looking for, but we'll overshoot. Anything you see, you get it.
Or a shot sheet?
Yeah, basically with a shot sheet going along with the script. But something like that, yeah, we storyboarded from end to end, and went out, shot it. Had some really, really good shots.
I seen the commercial you showed me earlier.
Yeah.
It was really good. And we'll show some of their work during this episode. So all VRS Media stuff, and I've been cheating and looking at their stuff.
Trying to gain a little knowledge.
That was one of the first ones we really started working with.
I'm not saying I'm going to steal anything you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I'm learning.
They always say the way to get what you want, you don't steal, but you mimic. Which you
flattery,
that's flattery. You
yeah.
watch episodes, watch something on YouTube, and if you really like that style, pay attention to how they lit it, how they shot. Look at the angles, how they moved it, and mimic that style. if you want to make your stuff look like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody yesterday or the day before. Day before yesterday, and he was talking to a famous director, and the guy said, "Look," he said, "make sure you do all your terrible stuff first.
Yeah.
Do it while you early, and then later on you get into the better stuff." But it's all about experience and life experiences. And I can remember you guys whenever he was shooting you were shooting a video for Hoyt for one of his songs, and so we all had to start somewhere. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I grabbed a camera, but his camera was telling me about it. We mount everything.
Sure.
I have this video. It's still got on VHS. It's called Yard Pass. It will make you absolutely sick because the camera's all like this. The whole thing because it's one of these things where the viewfinder was kicked up instead of being in line with the camera. So I'm constantly looking like this trying to find, and it zoomed all the way in. It was horrible. So I go from that to starting at the TV station, and they see my footage the first day, and they loved it because it was so steady.
Right.
And I didn't even have a tripod with me. They want to know what tripod I used that day. It's y'all didn't give me one. That was all handheld.
Yeah.
So suddenly I become news photographer immediately.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So to go from all this to that, and I'm still a stickler on that when I'm shooting. It's like if I'm doing any kind of pan or something, I'm shooting something.
Sure. If
I have just the slightest catch in, I'm gonna shoot it again.
Yeah.
It drives Jeffrey nuts sometimes because sometimes I do overshoot.
You sound like one of the directors.
But when
Like
it comes to
that.
that stuff, I'm a perfectionist on that stuff.
Sure,
I want it to be perfect. I don't want to have to fix it impulsive if I don't have to.
Well, sure, yeah. Well, me and Hoyt talk about that too. And the difference between when you first start and when you to this point. And we've only been in 8 episodes, but we were talking about it the other day, and I'm not going to mention the name, but there's another guy that does podcasts, and I mean he's hugely popular.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Hoyt were talking about him, and I went back and found his first episode that he did, and I sent it to Hoyt.
Wow.
And it was funny, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Ours was a lot better for the first episode. So I felt a little better after seeing that, and that was kind of my point. I wanted him to understand it. It's going to take some time. We'll get there though. Yeah.
And you just never know. Sometimes there's this one guy I follow. He has 10 million followers.
Sure.
And he does everything right. He breaks all the rules, but the way he breaks it is just brilliant.
Yeah.
You gotta watch him.
Yeah.
And on that note, y'all just hang out. We'll be right back.
God called Moses to speak to his people and tell them that life and death is a choice. Choose life. Our message here today is that every life deserves a lifetime. This year, 10,000 babies in Louisiana have lost their life. Nobody grieved their loss. Nobody stood up and said, "We remember your life." And I don't think it hits us. I don't think we even don't really understand the gravity of that many spirits going back to God. This movement has given me life. We will not stop marching. We will not stop serving. We will not stop praying. We are going to work our fingers to the bone, and then, by God's grace, we will win.
We believe that every person, no matter their circumstances, deserves the same shot at life.
We march for life because the time to end abortion is now.
Hasten the day when abortion is a fact of history. And Father, when the days in Louisiana of abortion are gone and the days of adoption are full and complete. For we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
We hanging out on this Mardi Gras day with Dwayne Dupre, just fine as frog's hair. So give us a shot of
if that hair could sing, it might sing.
No.
Hey, I did all those years of singing and never had the hair to go on with it. So
Hey, I'm
letting
jealous.
it grow down because they got me doing lead singing stuff, so I'm gonna play the part.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
get you some weaves.
Yeah.
Oh, but anyway, we were talking about technology and all of this fun stuff you guys do at video, whatever. Where'd you learn how to do this? How'd you get into learning?
I got
how to
into
do
it. I started as recording at Technosound is what got me into it. Watching Tony.
Tony and Nelson.
Tony Daigle.
No, Daigle.
Tony Daigle and
Yeah.
Nelson Blanchard.
Nelson
Nelson,
Blanchard.
Nelson wasn't there the day I was there, but watching Tony, it's like I could do this stuff. So about the same time, my little sister graduated high school, and she was going to the Art Institute of Houston. So I went along for the open house, and it's like, I love this. You know, this is what I'm doing on the side anyway. So I ended up going to the Art Institute, and it was called Music and Video Business, but it was audio and video engineering is what it was, because that's all we did. You know, and this was old school. This was analog audio. This was tape to tape editing, everything.
Back in the day.
Yeah, the Photoshop didn't exist yet. This
Right.
was in fact, my last year there, they got in a video toaster, which had Photoshop type of capabilities. And only me and one other guy were allowed into the room. Same thing with the MIDI room. They built a MIDI room, and I was the only person in the entire school allowed into it because I had so much experience ahead of time with all my keyboards and all.
Yeah.
So got into that and just took off from there, learning more and more. From that point on, it's really self-taught because everything I'm using now didn't exist when I went to school.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly watching tutorials. You know, nightly I'll find something either for 3D stuff, compositing, just always furthering your education. You can't sit still because they got too many kids that were brought up with this stuff. You know, just like I started out programming computers, they're doing this high-end editing and compositing stuff in middle school.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I got to stay ahead of them.
Yeah.
Because it's too easy for them to come up and for a company to hire them for minimum wage doing the same thing. So I got to make sure that I keep the edge.
And speaking of the edge, let's talk about drones. The king of the drone shots.
That's the next thing. Started flying them 2-3 years ago before the licenses came out. You know, they didn't have the rules yet with the FAA, so it's kind of a gray area what you could use it for. So start out with a Phantom, and we just get little shots here and there when we do the weddings. It's just something using it as a tool. In fact, we still, even the new one we have now, high-end Inspire 2 5.2K camera, and this thing's unbelievable. It's just one of our tools. It's not something we go out and that's our only business. There's so many of them that that's drones is the whole business, whereas this is another camera platform for us. But a little over 2 years ago, they came out with, okay, here's the rules. The FAA says you got to get a license. Originally, it was you had to be a pilot already, a Part 61 pilot, in order to get a drone license to fly it. Well, they changed those rules a couple of years ago, and now anybody could go. You basically go through ground school. You learn just about anything the pilot's going to learn on the ground, short of actually flying a plane. Weather, reading weather charts. Airspace is the biggest thing. Knowing your airspace is where you can fly, when you can fly, how high you can fly, all those different things, checking conditions and all. You go through all that. I went through a training course for about a month or so, and I went to take the test. So I'm actually a licensed pilot now, Part 107 pilot. And in fact, 3 months ago, I went back and I had to renew that license. You got to renew it every 2 years. It never expires, but you got to recertify every 2 years. So I did that. And we've been I just recently used it on a film project with Chuck Bush, where I did some dollar shots for him, did some overhead shots. I can't talk about on air what the shots were because it's still in production. I got to keep that under wraps. But yeah, we were able to use the drones for shots that normally you'd have a big camera on dollies rolling backwards or on the side of the actor. Well, I flew the drone alongside and as he was walking, I'm going along with him. And then we reverse the angle, and I'm walking the drone backwards as he's walking towards it to get the shots. And then some just overhead views and stuff.
Well, I imagine that's a lot less stuff to set up, because on the old shots you had to put tracks out with somebody pushing someone and make sure everything is stabilized and shockproof.
I mean, they were doing some pickup shots that morning, And I wasn't even involved with the project. I was being shot out of our office. And Chuck said, I got an idea for a shot. So with no prep work or anything other than checking my readings, and I'll make sure everything was good to fly. There wasn't no flight restrictions or anything.
Yeah.
We're up and running in a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to get those shots.
So what kind of drone you have? Tell us something about the drones and the equipment.
It's a DJI Inspire 2. It's about yay big. It's one of these that when it takes off, gets about 4 foot up in the air, and the landing gear raised. So it puts the props way up in the air, and the camera's hanging below. So I could shoot. Forgot exactly what angle. I could probably shoot it like on a 60-degree angle up without catching those props or any of the plane. So I could shoot down, shoot that, and it also has a targeting system on it. Where as I'm flying, I could look at the screen and I see my target. I just draw a box around it, and that camera's gonna lock in. So no matter where I'm flying the drone, which way it's going, that camera's locked in on that target. In fact, I gave Corey a shot. I'll have full aerial division demo on there, talking about all the things we do with it. But there's also one that's just a Corvette, Barry St. Germain. We did a scene out in the field where we put Barry in his wife's Corvette and did a chase scene with the drone.
Yeah, I saw it. I like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll show it on the show. Definitely.
So that was fun doing that. That's back before they neutered my drone though. When it first came out, it'd do about 80 miles an hour, wide open, and it got to the point where people were crashing the drones because they put it in speed mode, put the throttle wide open, and don't let off of it. Well, those batteries get hot, and so they were running wide open, and all of a sudden the thing just falls out the sky. So so they brought it down so they can't push it that hard.
Governor them.
Yeah, they govern it. Yeah, so. And they've done it twice to me now. The first it was 80, then it's down to 70 now. I might be pushing 60 right now with a good tailwind. But that's still fast in the sky.
It's real fast. Yeah. Sure.
That's some good shots.
Most definitely.
So, is there any kind of software you use with the drone or particular?
It's actually all self-contained. We do have some other software we use if we're doing. You could do aerial surveying with it. And that's a different software, and that's unbelievable because usually I'm 250 feet up in the air, and I'll just fly over. I'll just sit there, pre-program it like on Google Earth type of thing, set it up, hit go, and the drone takes off, does it all on its own, and it flies. It takes high resolution images as it's just zooming back and forth. It just does a little grid, comes back, lands on its own. I pack it up, go and put it in the software, and it makes a high resolution map. 250 foot up in the air, I can zoom in and count the rocks on the ground.
Oh wow.
And it pieces it all together. You could do measurements off of it. I could fly over rock piles and circle that rock pile after, and it'll tell me how much rock is there. They give me a cubic yardage.
That's impressive.
And then you could do it over time where it overlay it. Say, okay, this is how much rock was removed from this pile. So that's another. We don't use that as much, but we have that capability.
Yeah.
We do that.
What kind of other cameras and stuff y'all use? Anything else?
We have.
Well, not giving away a lot of secrets, but
well, we have cameras for different things. We got. One big camera. It's got a 35 millimeter. How you call it? The chip in it is a. I said it.
Super 35.
Yeah. Cinema 35, Super 35 chip in it, and it's just real. It's got real nice depth of field. That's the one we use for our big projects. It has that film look.
Yeah.
And those are made for cinematic looks.
Yeah, it's not good for run and gun because it's.
A little too heavy.
Well, no, it's not heavy at all. Actually, it's the same size as the other ones. The lens is heavy. That prime lens
balance,
is heavy.
Maybe.
Yeah, but the reason we don't use it is because it's only manual focus, and it's such a precise focus.
Right.
You're dealing with low light situations on a low f-stop. You got that much room for your focus. Somebody just moves their head like this, they're out of focus that fast.
That's exactly right.
So for that, we use that camera for completely controlled situations where you're looking for that film look. We got another JVC that's a run and gun, all-purpose camera. It works great in any situation. Sure. We got another one. It's another kind of run and gun camera. It's a Panasonic. That one's great for high frame rate, so you get it super slow motion. And it's got a good stabilizer on it. So there's a shot in that BHHS commercial where there's these two girls, their hair is glowing in the sun, and they're running in super slow motion. That shot is probably in reality only 4 or 5 seconds long, and but it played in the time that it's set in. It could last 3-4 minutes because it's super slow motion. But I'm just running behind these kids, in the field. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Cool. So what influenced you again to get into this or and encourage you into your music stuff? Well, we'll be right back.
My name is Dwanye Dupre. I'm production manager and UAS pilot for VRS Media Group. I've been flying model aircraft for some time now and started flying quadcopters a couple of years ago. I'm a FAA Part 107 certified SUAS pilot, which means I've been trained extensively in flying safely, reading weather charts, sectional charts, and understanding procedures within controlled airspace. This certification allows our company to fly commercially, giving our clients professional, quality video footage and still images of their projects at a fair price. We've chosen the DJI Inspire 2 as our primary aircraft because of its versatility. With a 5.2K camera that has the ability to track targets, the Inspire 2 allows us to capture ultra-high definition footage ranging from real estate video and photos, construction sites and field surveys, to full motion picture movies. We have the ability to capture those exciting shots that are normally more expensive and more dangerous when using manned aircraft. With a drone, you can safely get in much closer to get that perfect shot. When it comes to surveying, we can quickly and inexpensively map your work site or fields. Our software allows you to track your progress on site to make sure your project is on schedule and up to code. After we fly your site, you will receive a link to a high-resolution aerial map of the location. You'll be able to answer questions like, what are my elevations? How much material do I have on site? Is the dike around the tank farm high enough to control a spill? How healthy is my crop? With the data you receive, you'll be able to quickly determine if any action needs to be taken. With VRS Media Group, you are not only getting trained licensed pilots, you get producers with over 30 years experience capturing photos and videos. We're now carrying that expertise from the ground to the sky. So if you need aerial videos or photos for real estate or other properties, we can deliver the high quality, high resolution imagery you need. Two and one.
Forget about that. Yeah.
I had to get a good clap out.
I had to get. Oh, thanks. You just really helped a lot. Yeah. You know? Which clap was it? It was the second clap. No, it was the first clap. You trying to mess me up over there? We're gonna have to leave this in. Yeah, welcome back.
We're arriving with Dwayne Dupre, the master drone video editing,
Video guru.
curly-haired guy. Anyway, Dwayne, we ask everybody this: what's your favorite Louisiana dish?
I could sit there, especially when Mom used to fix them all the time, and eat shrimp, fried shrimp, till I can't move anymore. I just love fried shrimp. Now, there's a new one lately. The Grapevine in Downsville has this.
Mm-hmm.
It's pecan encrusted fried shrimp.
Come on.
Dude. God, it's.
I
really can't explain what it. I guess the only thing I can think of is like you're eating a pecan pie, that filling, you know.
Yeah.
So and the shrimps and that, but I don't know if that's what it is or not. But man, it's good. It's good. In fact, it's an appetizer there, and I'll order that as my meal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gee, thanks, bro.
You hungry now, Corey?
Gee, thanks, bro.
I heard some grumbling when you said shrimp. I heard some.
Yeah.
Oh, so outside of all the drone stuff and work and things you do at VRS, what other pursuits you have or interests or hobbies? I know you play keyboards.
Yep. In fact, that's how you and I met up playing music and all. I've been playing keyboard. Started out playing saxophone in high school. Then played bassoon, played tenor sax, and then got into the stage band, did a little keyboard then. And that was on the little mini key things and all.
Yeah.
And then actually learned watching my mom. She always did play piano. And one day she walked outside and I sat down behind her. I just learned how to read sheet music and everything. And what I did was I'd taken her piano and used a pencil and wrote the numbers on it, because I learned on a little wind organ and had numbers on everything, and played back a Beethoven song. My dad thought it was my mom playing. And she hadn't played since. She stopped playing.
I give up.
Yeah. So, but that led into getting another mini keyboard. Started playing my first true rock band in 1988, band called Radioactive. Bought my first real board, Roland D20, which I still have to this day.
Oh wow!
Does it still work?
Still works. Wow. Still use that. I used to, until I got my recent board, I used to have 3 boards around me. I have 2 in a stand here and 1 off to the side, and I use every one of them through the show, just constantly splitting them different kind of ways. About 2 years ago, I bought a Roland X8, and I got 6 boards total. I use that one. Yeah. I mean, it handles everything I throw at it. I can split it in many different ways. Live playing, it has like a drum pad on top, 16 pads. I could program those things to do anything, not just change sounds. I hit that and completely change the setup of the keyboard instantly without losing the sound I'm playing. So say I'm holding a chord or something like that. Most keyboards, when you change a sound, that's it. It drops dead and comes with a new sound. This one, I could be holding a chord, I change it, and it won't change until I play the next note. So it's a smooth transition to the next sound. So doing that, so I've been in many bands over the years. I've done everything from rock to country.
And you playing in the band now?
We have a band, somewhat.
Yeah,
we put together. We got a bunch of old guys, same guys we played with back in the day. Yeah. And it just seems like what our normal work schedules.
It's tough.
From end of March to end of June is my turnaround season.
We got to figure out which bugs. We were talking about bugs earlier. Get a music bug. Food bug. Anyway, the video bug. Yeah. When you do something and the first time you do it, you want to do it again for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah. But
you got both of them. We can figure out which one's the mine's the food bug, but anyway.
Well, mine's probably the special effects and 3D stuff. That's what I really like doing, that kind of stuff.
Well, at least you get paid to do something you love.
But I've still got a music thing on the side. We're trying. When you got guys that work in the plant, working turnarounds all the time, and mostly at night.
Right.
No, it's hard. We don't see each other.
Right.
Barry lives across the bay from me. I might see him once every few months. It's just hard to get together. So we try. We played a few times. When we get together, it's great. We still get at it, but there's no time for it anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I understand.
We were talking about technology earlier, and I think maybe a good question is if someone wanted to start to do what you do, what's a good camera for them to start doing this kind of thing with?
It really all depends on what you're looking to
budget
do.
For one thing.
Budget. Yeah, that's the biggest thing, the budget. But cameras come down a lot. Back when I used to own my own company years ago, a basic camera for me, I'd pay $30,000 for a camera.
Wow.
Because that was by today's standard, that's a doorstop now. I had a camera, paid $22,000 for this camera. Beautiful picture. It was Super VHS, not Super VHS. It was digital.
Oh, okay.
Yes, is what it was. Beautiful thing, but it's 4:3 standard definition.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the tapes for it were $50 a tape.
Right.
Yeah, and now you're shooting on reusable cards at 4K.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not even cost effective. Plus, it looks horrible compared to today's technology.
Yeah.
So it all depends on what you're trying to do. Like I said earlier, we have different cameras for different things.
Yeah.
It depends on what you're trying to accomplish with the
Sure.
camera.
Yeah. So if anybody is watching, younger person, remember that do your research, look online, watch YouTube videos, anything you can find. Do research for beginners. I would say, me personally, I would say take like a DLSR, or even use smaller cameras that. Sony makes some cameras like that, Canon, and they all kind of shoot videos. So if that's something you want to do,
you don't want to jump into a super expensive camera.
And you don't have to.
Exactly.
You're right.
But a lot of people think, okay, I need to go get that Red Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Red Dragon's going to cost you a good chunk of change. I mean, we're talking, depending on what model, that could be anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000 for that camera.
Yeah.
And they think that's going to give them that look.
Yeah.
It's not in the camera at all. If you don't know how to use that camera, you don't know how to light for that camera, you don't know how to set up that camera.
Right.
Somebody with an iPhone is going to make something that looks 10 times better than what you shot with that Red Dragon.
And I was just fixing to say the same thing. We know for a fact that they've made movies with iPhones. And, I actually shoot some video for this show with my phone, which shoots 4K. And so, it's in your pocket. If you really want to get into this and start making little videos, post them online for your friends and stuff like that. And I think for us, the younger generation that's coming up, we want to really inspire you guys to do as much as you can, because we'd like to see you sitting here one day and
come on our show with something you shot.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
It's more about skill level. Learn the craft, learn the cameras, learn how to light. Most important thing, learn how to light. That's way more important than any camera.
Oh yes,
you use.
most definitely. I definitely agree with that.
I used to tell young musicians all the time, they come in and say, how do you get that sound? How do you do this? How do you do that? And I was like, well, first you got to learn how to play.
Yeah. You can go buy a $2,000 Ibanez. If you can't play, all there's going to be a bunch of noise.
Exactly.
I can attest to that.
I've heard guys
play distortion guitar. I can play acoustic.
Yeah.
Distortion guitar, it gets away from me every time.
Sure. Hart used to make my little acoustic Ibanez sound like a Yamaha. Actually, it was a Yamaha. Sound like a Martin. I was like, I always had to pay. But anyway, you're right. I totally agree.
I don't know about it. I hadn't seen him play in probably 20 years. I don't know anymore.
He's getting his chops up. Almost got him there. We still working on him. But,
on that note,
no, it ain't time to finish. We still got 1 minute left.
Wait, where's my phone? I got the whole Terror album.
He does do some music for this. Yeah, he does do some music for this. I made him put together. I call it the Jambalaya Jam. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So, and we're going to do more of that, hopefully, but we're really glad y'all are here today.
That's part of our plan, and part of doing this is to do some more live stuff. And go check out our page on Patreon, become a member. One of our goals on Patreon is once we hit a certain level, I forget what I put up there, I'd have to look. But go check us out on Patreon.
T-shirt or something like that.
Well, we had some T-shirts too. We're going to give away some T-shirts. But go become a member. There's different benefits of becoming a member. Once we reach that first level, I think we have set on there, we're going to start having live bands in the Crow Garage outside. We're going to shoot some footage of that and have them on the show, or have other people on the show and talk about those type of stuff. We have some other very good musicians that are going to come on, and part of what they're going to do is to teach like a little guitar lesson or riff or violin stuff. But if you have a talent, it doesn't have to be music. It can be movie, acting, shooting videos, doing things like Dwayne
send it to us. We'll watch it.
Like
we'll get back with you. You don't have to be, Steven Spielberg. I mean, you got to start somewhere.
Cook. If you're a welder and you have a special skill welding, and you come on the show and show it to us. That's what the show is about. Louisiana talent is what it's about, and talent that we think Louisiana has. That's the whole thing, is we want to promote that talent, help you out, and have fun in the process.
Yeah, and like we said, it's all about the younger generation too. We want to inspire younger people, and we know that there's a lot of older people that watch the show from our demographics. So if your kids are into this stuff, tell them to watch the show. Hopefully we'll be able to see him on here one day.
And hopefully we'll bring Dwayne back. He can maybe do something with his drone or do something on a video
Yeah, it's
editing.
kind of. I have it with me today, but it's a little bit too windy.
Yeah,
I checked my app and it said no.
Yeah.
34 mile an hour winds out there. I said no.
What's maybe some of the things, tips about lighting and stuff we can have maybe, with approval.
Yeah.
But we want to start doing some of those things. Some teaching some people who are interested in certain things. But anyway, give us a message. Holler at us. Next time, come on back. Just give a hoot and holler to the coot and the collar. And we'll see you next time.